From the arid sands of the Arabian Peninsula, a land largely considered a forgotten periphery by the mighty Byzantine and Sasanian empires, rose a spiritual flame that would reshape the world. This is the story of Islam, a 14th-century journey from a small band of believers in Mecca to a global civilization embracing nearly 2 billion souls. The revelation and the messenger. Our narrative commences in the year 570 CE. The Arabian Peninsula, a land of fierce tribal loyalties and ancient polytheistic practices, was far removed from the centers of power in the Mediterranean. Amidst this landscape, in the bustling trading city of Mecca, a young man named Muhammad was carving his reputation as a respected merchant. Everything changed in 610 when, seeking solitude, Muhammad retreated to the nearby cave of Hira for meditation. There, bathed in the soft glow of twilight, he believed he received his first of many divine revelations from God, spoken through the angel Gabriel. These revelations, meticulously transcribed and compiled over the next 23 years, formed the basis of the Quran, a word that in Arabic means the recitation. For Muslims, the Quran is not merely a book, but the literal word of God, a timeless guide for humanity. Its message was profound. There is only one God, Allah, and all humanity, irrespective of social standing, must submit to His will. Muhammad, now considered a prophet, started sharing these teachings with his kin and confidants. Early followers known as the Sahaba listened intently, their lives forever altered by the uncompromising message of social justice, unwavering morality, and divine unity. However, the message soon resonated beyond Muhammad's close circle, attracting common folk and outcasts alike who found solace and purpose in its simple yet radical message. This burgeoning community of believers quickly became a thorn in the side of Mecca's religious and political elite, the polytheistic Quraysh tribe. Persecution ensued, forcing the nascent Muslim community to flee to the neighboring city of Medina in 622. This event, known as the Hijra, marks the starting point of the Muslim calendar and signifies the community's arduous journey from marginalization to empowerment. In Medina, Muhammad and his followers faced hostility from the dominant Jewish and Arab tribes. Yet amidst the tensions, they established the foundations of a new society guided by the principles of justice and equality. The first Muslim state, or Caliphate, was born, laying the groundwork for an empire that would span 3 continents in less than a century. The storm of conquest and the forging of an empire with the consolidation of power in Medina. Muhammad turned his attention to the prosperous trading hub of Mecca. After 8 years of preparation, in 630, he led his followers back to the city, not in a spirit of vengeance, but to reclaim his birthplace for the burgeoning new faith. His triumphal entry into Mecca symbolized the beginning of a remarkable transformation. Within 2 years, the entire Arabian Peninsula had accepted Islam, setting the stage for an unparalleled era of Muslim expansion. Yet the passing of Muhammad in 632 did not mark an end, but rather a transition. Guided by his example and the principles enshrined in the Quran, his successors, the Caliphs, led the Muslim community into an age of astonishing achievements. Abu Bakr and Umar, Muhammad's close companions, secured the nascent empire's unity and expanded its borders. Under the banner of Islam, they defeated the Sasanian Empire of Persia and laid siege to the Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire. Despite its immense size and diversity, the newly forged Muslim world, united by a common faith, was remarkably stable. This stability was partly due to the introduction of the concept of people of the book, which granted religious tolerance to Jews and Christians, acknowledging their scriptures as divine revelations, albeit superseded by the Quran. This policy fostered coexistence and contributed to the empire's initial stability across a vast and varied domain. However, the seeds of division were sown during the Third Caliphate of Uthman, a member of the powerful Umayyad clan. His association with the Umayyads and the perception of favoritism towards them sparked resentment, culminating in a revolt by Ali, Muhammad's cousin, and son-in-law. After Usman's assassination in 656, Ali's supporters labeled him the rightful heir to the Prophet and consolidated their rule in the eastern provinces, marking the emergence of the Shi'a. Those who backed Muawiyah, the founder of the Umayyad dynasty, solidified their position in the west, becoming the Sunni. This struggle for succession, known as the Ridda, marked the genesis of Islam's enduring internal divide. The first cracks. Genesis of the Sunni-Shi'a divide. Ali's ascendancy to the caliphate brought him into conflict with the Karagites, a radical faction that opposed his conciliatory approach to resolving the dispute with Muawiyah. When Ali upheld the principle of consultation in governance, the Karagites broke away, forming their own independent state in Persia. This schism resulted in the First Fitna civil war. The conflict reached its tragic climax at the Battle of Karbala in 680, where Ali's son Hussein, a revered figure in Shi'ism, was killed along with his followers by the forces of Muawiyah's son Yazid. This event indelibly shaped Islam's trajectory, transforming a political dispute into a deep theological chasm that continues to reverberate today. For Shia Muslims, the martyrdom of Hussein symbolizes the struggle against tyranny and injustice. The veneration of Hussein and his brother Hazan further cemented the authority of Ali's progeny, whom Shia Muslims believe are the true heirs of the Prophet. Meanwhile, Sunni Muslims revere Hussein as a pious ancestor, and his sacrifice as a testament to the importance of obedience to authority. Yet despite this shared reverence, the divisions persist, shaping different legal interpretations, rituals, and beliefs. The Golden Age, Baghdad, science, and a cultural efflorescence as the Umayyad dynasty waned. Giving way to the Abbasid era, Islam's cultural zenith was achieved. Under Harun al-Rashid, famed for his opulent lifestyle and patronage of the arts, Baghdad evolved into the seat of a cosmopolitan empire. The construction of the Great Mosque of Samarra showcased the fusion of diverse architectural influences, symbolizing the empire's cultural richness. Baghdad was more than just a seat of power. It was a beacon of intellectual brilliance, housing the renowned House of Wisdom, or Beit al-Hikmah, a center that attracted scholars from various civilizations. Here, ancient Greek, Persian, and Indian texts were translated into Arabic, ensuring their preservation and dissemination throughout the empire. The efforts of scholars like Al-Khwarizmi, whose pioneering work laid the foundation for algebra, exemplified this intellectual ferment. The Golden Age witnessed scientific, philosophical, and artistic flourishing. Al-Razi's contributions to medicine, Al-Farabi's philosophical inquiries, and the exquisite geometric patterns adorning mosques and palaces all stand as testaments to this vibrant era. Moreover, the integration of non-Muslim scholars within this intellectual milieu fostered an environment of mutual respect and cross-cultural learning, enriching the Muslim world with a kaleidoscope of perspectives. New empires and a global reach, the Abbasid era also saw the emergence of new centers of Muslim power. Following the Battle of Manzikert in 1071, the Turkic Seljuk dynasty conquered vast territories in Anatolia, laying the groundwork for the eventual Ottoman Turkish dominion in the region. Their incursions into Byzantine lands directly contributed to the Crusades, a series of European expeditions aimed at reclaiming the Holy Land. These encounters between Christian and Muslim forces, while often characterized by violence, also sparked cultural exchanges and diplomatic missions, reflecting the complex realities of medieval interactions. Meanwhile, Muslim traders and Sufi mystics disseminated Islam along the Silk Roads and maritime routes into Central Asia, India, and Southeast Asia. Powerful Islamic sultanates, like the Delhi Sultanate and later the Mughal Empire, flourished in India, leaving behind architectural marvels such as the Taj Mahal and a rich cultural legacy. Similarly, in Southeast Asia, kingdoms like Malacca and Demak became vibrant hubs of Islamic learning and trade. Twilight and a New Dawn. Colonialism and the modern world by the 18th century. However, the great Muslim empires, the Ottomans in the Middle East, the Safavids in Persia, and the Mughals in India faced decline. Concurrently, European powers driven by the Industrial Revolution embarked on an era of colonialism, rapidly expanding their influence across the globe. By the 19th century, much of the Muslim world had fallen under European rule or influence. This domination prompted diverse responses, ranging from nationalist resistance movements to reformist currents like Wahhabism and Salafism. The 20th century witnessed the demise of the old empires, including the abolition of the Ottoman Caliphate in 1924, marking the end of a 600-year-old institution. Decolonization led to the creation of numerous nation-states, yet artificial borders and unresolved conflicts persisted. Most significantly, with the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, this event triggered ongoing tensions and conflicts in the region, shaping international relations to this day. Islam today. Islam is a global, diverse, and dynamic faith. From the historic heartlands of the Middle East to the archipelagos of Indonesia, home to the world's largest Muslim population, from the vibrant cities of sub-Saharan Africa to the growing minority communities in the West, the legacy of Muhammad continues to be interpreted and lived. It faces immense challenges, from violent extremism to reconciling tradition with modernity. But after 14 centuries, the story of Islam remains a testament to the enduring power of faith to shape human history. This has been the story of Islam. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. From the arid sands of the Arabian Peninsula, a land largely considered a forgotten periphery by the mighty Byzantine and Sasanian empires, rose a spiritual flame that would reshape the world. This is the story of Islam, a 14th century journey from a small band of believers in Mecca to a global civilization embracing nearly 2 billion souls. The revelation and the messenger, our narrative commences in the year 570 CE with the birth of Muhammad in Mecca, a thriving city-state and hub of trade in the Arabian Peninsula. At the time, Arabia was a patchwork of tribes bound by custom and commerce, where the dominant power was the Quraysh tribe who controlled the pilgrimage route to the holy city of Mecca. Muhammad, raised an orphan, eked out a living as a merchant, earning the respect of his peers for his honesty, but his life was about to undergo a profound transformation, according to Islamic tradition, in the year 610, while seeking solitude in the cave of Hira near Mecca to ponder his spiritual path. Muhammad experienced a profound event. The angel Gabriel appeared before him, proclaiming, "Read, in the name of your Lord who created." Startled, Muhammad confessed his inability to read, to which Gabriel replied, "Recite, O Muhammad, and I shall tell you what you should recite." And so began the process of divine revelation, the Quran considered by Muslims to be the literal word of God. Over the course of 23 years, Muhammad received these revelations, which he recited to his close confidants, sharing a radical message. There is only one God, and humanity must submit to his will. This submission is Islam. Initially, Muhammad and his small circle of followers, known as the Sahaba, kept a low profile, preaching in Mecca. But soon their message of social justice, divine morality, and monotheism openly challenged the polytheistic order upheld by the Quraysh. Consequently, Muhammad and his followers faced fierce persecution. The Meccans, threatened by this new faith and its implications for their tribal authority and lucrative pilgrimage trade, sought to eliminate Islam. Boycotts, beatings, and even killings became commonplace. Forced out of Mecca, Muhammad found refuge in the neighboring city of Medina. Transition and the rise of a new community in Medina, Muhammad's mission gained momentum. He played a pivotal role in settling disputes between the city's diverse tribes, establishing a framework for worship and outlining the duties of Muslims towards fellow believers and non-believers. This period, known as the Medina, or the Journey, witnessed the formation of the Ummah, a worldwide community of Muslims transcending tribal divisions. Key revelations during this time defined pillars of Islamic practice, such as prayer, fasting during Ramadan, charity, and the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. This era also saw the first organized military action by Muslims, initially defensive in nature, culminating in the Battle of Badr in 604, where a small Muslim force triumphed over a larger Meccan army. This victory marked a turning point, demonstrating the strength of Muslim unity and courage. Within a few years, Muhammad and his followers reclaimed Mecca, abolishing paganism and establishing Islam as the city's official religion. The conquest of Mecca led to the gradual unification of the Arabian Peninsula under Islam, though resistance continued in pockets, notably from the tribe of Banu Sulaym. During the farewell pilgrimage in 630, Muhammad led over 100,000 Muslims in a final display of unity and strength, cementing Islam's dominance in the region. Conquest, division, and the Golden Age. Muhammad's journey from persecuted prophet to leader of a burgeoning empire was remarkable, yet his mortal body was subject to the laws of nature. Upon his death in 632, the question of his succession loomed large. Abu Bakr, his close friend and father of the first Caliph Umar, consolidated the nascent Muslim state. He faced rebellions, including a major one by the tribe of Banu Aslam, demanding recognition of the Hashemite clan as Muhammad's heir. After defeating the revolt, Abu Bakr focused on territorial expansion, sending military expeditions beyond the Arabian Peninsula for the first time. Umar's reign witnessed unprecedented territorial expansion. Muslim armies swept across the Middle East, conquering vast areas from Syria to Persia. Key victories included the Battle of Yarmouk in 636, where Muslim forces decisively defeated the Byzantine army in Syria, opening the door to Egypt and Mesopotamia. By the end of his rule, Muslim armies stood at the gates of Constantinople and had penetrated deep into Central Asia. The conquest of these lands was facilitated by several factors. One was the historical exhaustion of the Sasanian and Byzantine empires after centuries of warfare. Moreover, the diverse peoples under Muslim rule often found them to be more tolerant religiously and had a lighter tax burden compared to their previous imperial masters. However, cracks were forming within the political structure of the Islamic world. A struggle for secession following Uthman's death in 656 sparked the First Fitna, a civil war that deeply divided the Muslim community. Supporters of Ali Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law believed leadership should pass to the Prophet's family. On the other side, Muawiyah, governor of Syria, supported the claim of his deceased brother, Uthman's successor. The conflict culminated in the Battle of Siffin in 657, which resulted in a stalemate. Though the fighting eventually ended, it left an indelible scar on the Ummah, shaping it into two distinct branches: the Shia, who backed Ali's claim and became concentrated in Persia and Iraq, and the Sunni, who recognized Muawiyah as the rightful successor and formed the majority. In 680, the tension between Sunni and Shia escalated dramatically with the Battle of Karbala in Iraq, where Hussein, Ali's young son, and his followers were killed by the army of the Umayyad Caliphate under the command of Ubayd Allah ibn Ziyad. The martyrdom of Hussein, seen by Shia Muslims as a symbol of resistance against oppression, further cemented the divide between the two branches of Islam. This division persists to this day, shaping the religious landscape of the Muslim world. Despite this fracture, Islamic civilization flourished during the Abbasid dynasty, which replaced the Umayyads in 750. The capital was moved to Baghdad, designed to be the world's center. In the House of Wisdom, Muslim scholars of various backgrounds translated and studied texts from Greek, Persian, and Indian traditions. Building upon them, the Islamic world became the world's intellectual hub. Advancements were made in algebra, astronomy, medicine, optics, and philosophy, among other fields. This efflorescence of culture is exemplified by masterpieces like the Dome of the Rock and the Great Mosque of Samarra, new centers, and the Crusades. As Abbasid authority waned in the 10th century, new centers of power emerged, notably the Turkic Seljuk and Fatimid dynasties. The Seljuks, after defeating the Byzantines at the Battle of Manzikert in 1071, conquered vast territories in Anatolia, which became the focal point of the Crusades, a series of religious wars sanctioned by the Latin Church between 1095 and 1291, aimed at reclaiming the Holy Land. The Crusades, though militarily inconclusive for the Europeans, had profound consequences, contributing to the deaths of countless Muslims and intensifying anti-Christian sentiment in the Islamic world. Meanwhile, the Fatimids in North Africa and the Zengids in Syria and Iraq sought to revive Abbasid authority. Further east, Muslim traders and Sufi mystics spread Islam along the Silk Roads and maritime routes into South Asia, Central Asia, and Southeast Asia. In India, the Delhi Sultanate, founded in the 12th century, embraced Islam and ruled over vast domains, leaving behind magnificent monuments like the Qutb Minar and the Tomb of Iltutmish. Later, the Mughal Empire, with its unique synthesis of Islamic, Persian, and Indian elements, ushered in an era of cultural brilliance, evident in iconic structures like the Taj Mahal. In Southeast Asia, kingdoms like Malacca and Demak became vibrant centers of Islamic learning and trade. Twilight and a new dawn by the 18th century. The great Muslim empires, the Ottomans in the Middle East, the Safavids in Persia, and the Mughals in India, were in decline. Concurrently, European powers, driven by the Industrial Revolution, embarked on an age of colonial expansion. By the 19th century, much of the Muslim world had fallen under European rule or influence. This domination gave rise to diverse responses, from nationalist resistance movements to religious reformist currents like Wahhabism in Saudi Arabia and Salafism elsewhere. The 20th century brought significant upheaval. World War I led to the collapse of the old empires, including the abolition of the Ottoman Caliphate in 19. Decolonization created new nation states but also left artificial borders and unresolved conflicts, most notably with the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, which triggered the First Arab-Israeli War and subsequent conflicts. Today, Islam is a global, diverse, and dynamic faith. From the historic heartlands of the Middle East to the archipelagos of Indonesia, home to the world's largest Muslim population. From the vibrant cities of sub-Saharan Africa to the growing minority communities in the West, the legacy of Muhammad continues to be interpreted and lived. It faces immense challenges, from violent extremism to reconciling tradition with modernity. But after 1400 years, the story of Islam remains a testament to the enduring power of faith to shape human history.